vakadzi vari kurwa mudzimba idzi muri kumbogarira chiko?
Nyaya yacho ndeyechiko. Why do women stay in abusive relationships?
Should we just stay muchirohwa? Should you run? Wait, what, is it wrong? Is it religious? What's happening?
Let's hear your thoughts, guys.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of The Reactor, and with me in the studio is
Mr. Matthew Dibokmanaka. How you doing out there?
All right, so today we're going to be talking about a topic that's similar to the one that we just did last week.
Okay.
It's an interesting topic, I think. I've observed that a lot of women and it seems like they just stay put.
Okay.
Why do you think that is happening? Because clearly with all the help services that are available now, with the information that's being put up, come through and report Pamsasa, come and report Maprisa, there's the bench, whatever. There's a lot of things happening, but still we have women but still why do you think we still have that happening?
That one's an interesting one. And I think it's mainly poverty.
Poverty,
yeah.
All right.
A lot of women, from my experience, of women when they... Not from my experience. Yeah, let me put this here. Exactly, from my experience.
Yeah.
Because quite interestingly enough, yesterday when I was buying something in this certain shop, right, there were these two women who were talking about this particular story.
All right.
This particular story they were talking about was this chick is dating someone. No, she was rather dating someone before they were in a serious relationship. She thought it was going to lead to marriage. Then the person left. We went to a different city. Then she started dating someone else. So this person's apparently back in Mashingo and they want to rekindle the relationship. So in her mind, she's now dating both of these two people. Okay. So she was asking her friend to say, who should I date? Should I date this guy who just came back, who I was really serious about, or should I date this guy who I'm dating now? And as I go along with meeting up with most women, it seems like, I don't know if it existed in our time or probably we didn't see it. It seems like women always date multiple men, then wait to see who's serious, then end up going with the one who's serious.
All right.
So point going to why do women stay is, I think women these days date for... not because they really love the person, but because the person who they are with is the person who was the most serious. So in that now, when they finally in the relationship, it's I'm in the relationship because I have nowhere else to go. Once they are married to that person, they tie their entire lives to that one person, so much so that they have nowhere else to go. So even if it's abusive, even if it does XYZ to me, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? They tied to that person, and I guess that's why, as like the West came and pushed the society to that societal view that women have to have something of their own, because if they have something of their own, they have the opportunity to leave when they're being abused. And I think that's why the whole women empowerment started. It started because women were being abused because they didn't have any other thing besides the relationship that they had. So for them to come out of that abuse, they had to have something else. So that for me, I think, is the major reason. Poverty. People stay because they feel as if they have nowhere else to go. And they don't have any other option.
All right. Don't you think that religion plays a huge role in that? Because when you get married, there's a clause that you say that says, till death do us part.
Yes, definitely for those who are religious, I think it will have a part. It does play a part, because also religion now also intertwines into the relationships that you have to say, if I leave him, what would the pastor say? What would my other church members say? So religion, it does play a part. But you think religion really plays a part with these kids, like the ones who are younger than us? Probably the older version, but younger than us, you think they really are religious?
Religion has so much, because it plays a huge role in all our lives. And it's unfortunate or fortunate, I don't know, that more than 70% of our population here in Zimbabwe are religious. As much as they may not go to church, they anchor or they base everything that they do around religion. So if God, the Lord, says that once you marry someone, only death can separate you, it's engraved deep within your mind. And because you see, most of these ladies want to go to my church.
Okay.
And the best they do is pray. kana arowa mwari batsirai murume wangu aite zviri nani. And unfortunately most of the time nothing really what changes. Murume anenge achingodini achingochaya every day until in cases that I have known until murume atozotiza mukadzi.
Okay, murume ndiye
anozotiza mukadzi otoonogara nomumwe mukadzi, because most of the times panorowa anenge atori nomumwe warudini
varugara naye.
Then eventually the man leaves and goes to the other wife because mukadzi habvi anenge achingorohwa ridini angoripo.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think religion is playing a huge role in that.
And now that you mentioned religion, also got me thinking of something else. I was thinking of religion in one dimension. I was thinking of it in Christianity. I was thinking about it in African religion.
Yeah.
Because most people would say probably something happened to him. Pane munhu akatomugadzira kana kuti mbuya vako kana kuti tete vako ndo vakamugadzira. So it's still religion, but it's a different type of religion. So for sure, if we don't believe in, if probably the person is not Christian, they will fall onto the African side, and it also plays a role in how people
be going
view it.
Around
vachifambira nyaya dzacho.
So now they're not attacking the problem. They're just busy with these spiritual things and they keep on being abused.
And with most, you probably find that if she moves from an abusive husband, she'll just move on to the next abusive husband, who's usually the same. But at the same token, do you always think that it's the man, the abuser, who's the problem?
Blame.
Yes. Obviously, the abusing anyone is wrong, but my point is, do you always think it's the abuser?
Like we always, or rather like I was saying in the other discussion that we had, it's the choice that you make. The woman chose this man, and unfortunately this man is a basher. And kazhinji I've heard I'm on the kupusa side of men. I'm not that type of man.
You've heard it here first.
Tisu varume akapusa. Saka women usually don't want varume vakadini akapusa. Vanoda varume vakangwara, swashbuckler, nengari active, vandazvinakidza, going out, getting drunk, kumboita drama. I've heard a lot of women who talk about that. When murume anoboa, murume anoboa. Want someone who's exciting. And unfortunately, exciting comes with a little bit of bash.
Okay.
So I think this is one of the reasons why we get women getting beat up every day. Because the excitement yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your question, Kuti, is it just the
abuser?
Man? It's also the woman. Actually, I think to a very large extent, because she chose the man.
She chose, and at any given point in time, leaving is not that easy as I was alluding to. Because look at it like this: if he is the breadwinner and you are not, you leave and you go away.
Yeah, you leave and you go away. It's very unfortunate, especially when you don't have a background, career or anything. You're just a housewife. The only place you can go back to is your parents' place.
And what if your parents can have worse than matambura muri kuita with your husband? Then you are stuck in that situation. Then at the same token also brings up the point to say, should women really now equip themselves with a career, so much so that in the event that they get abused, they can always fall back on their career? Is that now the right direction to go?
You see, with the thing of relationships, like I said before, I even said one of the biggest decisions you ever make in your life is the choice of the partner you're going to make. So I actually think, fine, career path I now shut, but I actually think above all, that choice really matters. Because kana wachoose a partner yako unoona kuti ashwa asi mavalues but kufambirana mavalues apanenge akadzamdzama, the chances of them rebelling in the future, they are little compared to someone waunongosangana naye atongoriwo rebellious kudhara. Definitely the person anongozongoita nonsense kumberi uko. So at least ukachoose a partner yako unoona mavalues atofambirana endo zvandiri kutarisira kubva mumurume wangu, there's a chance kuti pamunosangana pamukaroorana even usina career path, even unayo asi usingaiteereri, there's a chance that this man will just keep on taking care of you in the future.
All right. And but my values, it's really difficult because if you look, most people just say kana chidamurume wakanaka enda kuchechi. But kuchechi ko ndo kwanoto kuna otorohwa even worse than kubao.
Why chidamurume wakanaka enda kuchechi?
No mwana kuchechi, but kuchechi
there's some credence. Hold on there.
So you're talking about values to say you need to see if your values match. And I was saying mostly you find people say kana chida mkumana wakanaka enda kuchechi because the values that the church brings are good values.
Yeah.
And besides church, there's nowhere else that you can find good values. But ukoko church ukoko, in my experience, no kune matsotsi akawandisa. So pa values apa when it comes to the choice, how do you choose or where do you go?
I think we've talked about this before. I think panyama values apa inyaya yekutongo explore. As much as kuchurch kune high chance ikuona munhu ari nani, it doesn't mean kuti that's the only place you can get someone. Kana uri munhu ari kutsvaga kuda kuroorwa kana kuroora, you need to mingle with a lot of people. We've talked about this, whether kuma party, whether kuma meetings, whether kuma whatever kunosangana vanhu, you need to be there because hapana pa uchasangana nevanhu usiri kunosangana kusangana vanhu. And once you do that, you need to date. We talked about dating before. And by dating doesn't mean go around sleeping around with different people. It just means interact with these people and understand who they are. Once is vanhu vakaita sei ndopaunotanga kuona kuti tikufambirana here. Of course kune varume konzi kwainzi rinonyenga rinohwarara rinozosumudza musoro radini rawana. The same thing goes to men and women. But the truth is, the longer you date this person, especially uchivanyima zvavanenge vachikumbira, which is sex most of the times, there is a very high chance of actually seeing the true colors yemunhu. If they can withhold their age, because everyone has an age for sex once they're in relationships. But if they really value you as a person, besides sex, they will try to hold on for as long as it takes. Maybe by marriage, because they really value. They won't leave you because of that.
In essence, you're saying no sex before marriage if you really want to see how serious this person is.
I think I don't want to put that. I don't want to put a stamp on that, but I want to think that has more, that is better than sex before marriage.
Is the best formula for getting what you want. It's not the only one, but it's one of the best.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
Okay. So, in essence, what you're saying is, what the first time, should she just leave? Because you find a lot of older women when they're giving advice. No, shingira. Those no one come relationship. It's a new marriage. Those no one zoitika. So do you think they should hold on, or the first time is the last time and just bounce?
Yeah, it's tricky to give advice on that one because we're not going to have a relationship then blame relationship. But the truth is, usually once a man is a beater, is always a beater. I don't know food, but usually that's just the beginning of a series of beatings.
Baba. You trying to say hakuna rehabilitation?
Rehab iriko, if you can afford to take the man to rehab, and if the man is also willing to go to rehab, then that's beautiful. Because even the mindset of murume admit I need to go to rehab, that's definitely a tick. That's a good reason for you to stick in the relationship. But kanango rumna nongo apologize, sorry, I just got angry, and then jospera jakadaro. Tomorrow they also get angry, they bash you. Then unfortunately there I don't see any return.
Okay.
It's very, very unfortunate. Most likely they're just gonna keep on doing that.
Okay.
Because kusvika parizlove yekurova munhu it's not easy vakomana tikanyatsozifunga. It's not like kana tiri kumaraini kuti tingorovana nevanhu kana tiri kumabasa. Kana wazosvika pakuzorova munhu
kwai mashoko ake haumazivi. Pane mashoko anonditaurira so
resolve yekurova munhu mawani. Mawani. Unenge wabva kure. I don't know vanorova vacho kuti how do they get to that, but because even when I get angry kuzosvika pakuti chaya.
Short temper. You get triggered.
Kuchaya, it seems as if you wagumigwa pakufunga. That's what it means. The brain cannot do anything more except
so it just resolves.
Yes, because you can. There's so many ways to deal with the situation. You can prostitute a should I send her home kunatete? Should I talk to her? Should I kanari mwana? Should ground her? And you think about a lot of things before washka pakubesha. Saka ukaona wazobesha pfungwa dzatogumigwa. So unfortunately, like I was saying, vanotorova pfungwa dzavo dzotogumigwa. Saka kuti vachazofunga anything else than kurova is very, very hard because they are just bashers and they actually think it's justified to
So even goes to another question to say, do you think via let's say they find a text in the wife's phone and the text is, it's not necessarily something that's out of this world. You know generally right? So you find a text that's leaning towards that do you think it's justifiable kurova mukadzi in that extent? Or there is no excuse whatsoever?
I don't think there's any excuse to beat anyone. Because once you beat someone,
Quite
for
spare
me,
the
Ram,
child spoiled the road. Chichi, amen, okoko. I don't know how it goes.
That's the unfortunate religion in my flows like a one.
Once in a while, from out. Chidi baba, you know.
Kurova munhu wasangana nemessage yake mufoni ka. Unfortunately, you make the other guy a better guy, unfortunately.
Alright.
Trust me, the other guy will be like, Waroa, I'm very sorry. Come through, let me comfort you, or let me do this for you. You become the monster by becoming the beater. Saka, don't even think you are becoming a hero. You are just a monster. You're making it worse. There's nothing that. Rather be the one who tries to understand. And if the woman doesn't,
I'll stop you right there.
Be the one who tries to understand and comfort. But if it's not worth it, you can leave it.
But you know, funny thing that you said, to say women don't like that.
Don't like what they want.
The one who wants to, I know, the one who wants to understand and let's talk about it. Tell me about your feelings. They want, you know,
the macho man.
They want the macho man, and the macho man is the one who beat you, beat the boyfriend, beat everyone, beat your mother, everyone. Or is that an exaggeration?
Well, okay, fine. Maybe it's a convoluted answer here. Because now, yes, to an extent, women actually want the macho man because that's an evolutionary thing. But to also another extent, they don't want that because they're emotional beings who also want someone to confide to. So usually when they want the macho man, they don't want the macho man who beats them up. They want the macho man who protects them. Okay. Usually the one who fights for the family, who fights for them, and not the one who beats them now. Because now if you beat them, they now look for that come. So you need to strike a balance where you are a macho man, of course, in terms of protecting your family and standing for what you also believe in as a man. All right, mama. You also need to stand your ground. Yeah, you need also to stand your ground somehow. But at the same time, when the woman needs emotional support, you give her the emotional support.
By emotional support, you think men are equipped to give emotional support? Because naturally, as they say, men are not emotional beings. We're more logical. We look at things logically. So do you think it's fair? Because there's this thing I was watching, right, that I was saying the more emotional men become, the more they become women, and women cannot stay with a woman.
That is very true, eh? But the thing is, most men, or rather most clever men, according to me, whenever they're emotional, they are pretending for the sake of the woman. They are never really emotional. Men, we never really.
I'll be
honest. Most of the times, but because the woman is there, you need to just say, yeah, sure, what a moment of silence. Because as a man, you'll be thinking, hey, fine. Phone but because you know you need to go through the
emotional roller coaster of it all.
Don't go it down. Through all of that stuff because you are a man. Saka clever men
plays the role.
They play the role. Okay. You go through all that stuff, which is because what
all right. So you need to strike a balance between the two.
You need to strike a balance between the two. So yeah, women, please tell us why you are in there. Tell us why you think these people are just being bashed.
What could it
no
be?
wisdom. Is that how relationships are supposed to be?
You find all the women say, you know, it's how relationships work. So yeah, you were asking me the question. Yeah, I think if you beaten up the first time, it should be the last time.
What you mean? You mean leave it? What you mean? The guy shouldn't continue.
I think to put in measures so much so that people are aware. I think hiding it only makes it worse. So wakarohwa, confide with the people around you, vanatete, vanani, make them know of the situation. If it also happens for the second time or after everyone knows, then my one, I think it's time to leave. But keeping it a secret, that's the worst. It's not necessary.
All right.